Have you ever stopped to think that, without realizing it, small gestures from your body might be sabotaging your interactions? Those almost automatic movements, which you do without thinking, might be sending messages that, instead of attracting, end up pushing people away from you. It's surprising how unnoticed details can break the magic of attraction, turning moments that could be of connection into uncomfortable situations. But the good news is that this can be corrected. Yes, with a few simple and conscious changes, you can totally transform the way you are perceived. Want to know how? Then keep reading and discover the body signals that may be compromising your relationships and how to adjust them to create a magnetic and irresistible presence. Maintaining eye contact is one of the keys to effective and meaningful communication. When someone constantly looks away during a conversation, it can give the impression of disinterest or, worse, a lack of sincerity. A simple example would be in a conversation with a close friend. If they notice that you're not looking directly at them, they might start to feel ignored. That's why practicing eye contact, even if it's not natural for you, is essential. If it's challenging, try focusing on specific parts of the face, like the area between the eyes, to create this connection without discomfort. This small change in behavior can transform the way people perceive you, increasing your confidence and presence in any environment. Imagine a job interview scenario. If you avoid the interviewer's gaze, you may give the impression that you're insecure or don't trust your own abilities. On the other hand, a firm and steady gaze conveys seriousness and interest, factors that can be decisive in securing that coveted position. Instead of charming, the lack of eye contact ends up pushing people away, breaking the magic of attraction that a genuine conversation can create. Moreover, it's interesting to note how eye contact can vary depending on cultural context. In some cultures, looking directly into someone's eyes is a sign of respect and attention, while in others it can be seen as a challenge. Knowing how to adapt your behavior according to the context is a valuable skill that can prevent misunderstandings and keep the interaction fluid. Thus, by mastering eye contact, you position yourself in a more authentic and assertive manner, strengthening bonds with those around you. Tech neck, as it's popularly known, is a direct reflection of modern times, where we spend hours looking down, whether at a phone or a tablet. Besides the physical problems this can cause, like chronic pain and muscle tension, there's also the impact on how people perceive you. When your posture is slouched, with your neck forward and your shoulders curved, you may appear insecure or inattentive, breaking the magic of attraction that confident posture could create. Instead of attracting, this gesture may end up pushing people away, making them see you as someone disconnected from the environment around you. To avoid this behavior, a practical tip is to adjust the height of your device's screen so that it's at eye level. This not only relieves neck strain but also significantly improves your presence. An upright posture is a sign of confidence and openness, essential elements in any social interaction. Imagine, for example, being in an important meeting where everyone is discussing ideas. If you're slouched, looking down all the time, it can give the impression that you're not engaged or, worse, that you're not interested in what's being discussed. Additionally, it's crucial to incorporate daily exercises that strengthen the muscles of the back and neck, such as stretches and yoga practices. These exercises help combat the negative effects of tech neck, promoting a healthier and more confident posture. By keeping your posture upright and aligned, you not only improve your physical health but also project a more secure and assertive image. After all, instead of charming, poor posture can end up pushing people away, creating invisible barriers that compromise communication. Fidgeting, whether physical or emotional, is one of the clearest gestures that convey insecurity or discomfort. Nervously fiddling with objects around you, like playing with a pencil or tapping your fingers on the table, might seem harmless, but it actually diverts the attention of the listener from what really matters, the message you want to convey. Instead of drawing the person into your conversation, these gestures end up pushing them away, breaking the magic of attraction that should exist in a fluid interaction. It's as if, without realizing it, you're saying that you're anxious or uninterested, which can weaken the connection you're trying to establish. A practical way to combat this habit is through mindfulness, which involves being fully present in the moment without letting your mind wander or fixate on worries. When you focus entirely on the conversation and the environment, it's easier to notice when you're about to fidget and redirect that energy constructively. Instead of playing with an object, for example, focus on breathing deeply and keeping your hands on the table or in your lap, demonstrating calmness and control. This simple change can make a significant difference in how you're perceived. Furthermore, it's helpful to practice relaxation and anxiety control techniques, such as diaphragmatic breathing or meditation, to reduce the need to express nervousness through movement. By mastering these techniques, you not only control fidgeting but also improve your self-confidence in situations that would otherwise be stressful. After all, instead of charming, fidgeting can end up pushing people away, making it harder to create an atmosphere of trust and connection. Mastering these distancing gestures, therefore, is essential for you to communicate more effectively and authentically. Putting your hands in your pockets during a conversation might seem like an innocent action, but it carries a powerful message. When someone chooses to hide their hands, it can give the impression that they're uncomfortable, closed off, or even distant. This simple gesture can, instead of attracting, end up pushing the other person away, breaking the magic of attraction that a more open posture could provide. In social interactions, where nonverbal communication plays a crucial role, keeping your hands visible and active is a sign of confidence and engagement. An effective alternative to avoid this habit is to use your hands to gesture naturally and expressively. For example, in a conversation where you're explaining an idea, smooth and well-coordinated hand movements can help emphasize important points and keep the listener's attention. This not only reinforces the message you want to convey, but also makes you appear more involved and approachable. It's as if, by keeping your hands in your pockets, you're hiding part of your personality, whereas by gesturing, you're revealing a more authentic and confident version of yourself. Moreover, in networking situations or social events, where first impressions are crucial, avoid this gesture as much as possible. A posture with hands in pockets can convey a lack of interest or even insecurity, while open and moving hands suggest that you're at ease and willing to interact. If the temptation to put your hands in your pockets is strong, hold a glass or an object that can be used as a support, thus maintaining a more active and engaged posture. After all, instead of charming, hiding your hands can end up pushing away and creating a barrier between you and the other person. Freezing, that instinctive reaction that arises in stressful situations, is one of the clearest signs of discomfort. When someone physically freezes during a conversation or presentation, it can give the impression that they're scared or paralyzed by fear. This behavior, instead of attracting, ends up pushing people away, breaking the magic of attraction that a natural and confident interaction should have. Imagine, for example, being in an important meeting and, when questioned, you simply freeze. This can create a feeling of discomfort not only in you but also in everyone present. To overcome this automatic response, it's essential to remember to breathe deeply and stay calm. Deep breathing helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxing the body in moments of stress. A simple exercise is to slowly inhale through the nose, count to 4, and exhale through the mouth, counting to 4 again. This not only helps you regain control but also allows you to continue the interaction in a more fluid and calm manner. It's important to remember that in social situations, instead of charming, freezing can end up pushing people away, creating an atmosphere of discomfort. Another crucial aspect is preparation. If you know that a particular situation might provoke anxiety, such as public speaking or facing a difficult conversation, anticipate and practice. Simulating the environment and the questions that might arise helps reduce the emotional impact when the moment arrives. This prior preparation can make all the difference, as by being more confident, you reduce the chances of freezing. Additionally, techniques like positive visualization can also be helpful, where you imagine yourself handling the situation confidently and calmly, strengthening your mind against stress. Finally, remember that freezing is a normal bodily response to stress but can be overcome with practice and self-awareness. By recognizing this pattern and applying techniques to overcome it, you become more resilient and able to maintain composure in any situation. And thus, instead of pushing people away, you position yourself as someone reliable and prepared, ready to face challenges without losing your calm. Facial expressions are a language in themselves, capable of conveying a wide range of emotions and intentions without a single word. However, when poorly controlled, these expressions can, instead of attracting, end up pushing people away from you. A face that is too neutral, for example, can be interpreted as disinterest or coldness, while a severe expression can suggest hostility or judgment. In a conversation, if your expression doesn't reflect the tone and content of what's being said, it can break the magic of attraction that effective communication should build. It's important to be aware of how your expressions may be perceived by others. For example, during a casual interaction, a slight smile can help maintain a friendly and approachable atmosphere. This small gesture can make all the difference in how you're perceived, turning a simple exchange of words into a deeper connection. In situations that require seriousness, like a negotiation, adjusting your expression to reflect concentration and respect can reinforce trust and professionalism. Avoiding expressions that convey disinterest, like rolling your eyes or frowning without reason, is crucial to maintaining a positive connection. Practicing facial expression control can also be extremely helpful. In front of a mirror, observe how your face responds to different emotions and try to adjust your expressions so that they're more aligned with the message you want to convey. For example, in a difficult conversation, maintaining a calm and attentive expression can help avoid misunderstandings and ensure that the other person feels heard and respected. This type of self-awareness is essential for anyone who wants to improve their communication skills and avoid gestures that push away, instead of attracting, those around them. Additionally, remember that congruence between facial expression and the tone of the conversation is vital for the message to be transmitted clearly and effectively. If you're complimenting someone, but your expression is indifferent, the impact of the compliment may be nullified, creating confusion or even resentment. Therefore, when expressing yourself, keep in mind that your facial features are a direct reflection of what you're feeling and saying, and mastering this nonverbal communication is essential to avoid gestures that push away and, thus, strengthen the relationships you want to build. Body posture is one of the most visible and immediate aspects of nonverbal communication. When someone adopts an upright and open posture, it conveys confidence, security, and receptivity. In contrast, a posture that's too relaxed, with slumped shoulders or a tilted body, can, instead of attracting, end up pushing people away from you. This slouched gesture breaks the magic of attraction that a more assertive posture could create, as it suggests disinterest or lack of energy. In a professional environment, for example, body posture can make the difference between being seen as a leader or as someone unmotivated. A simple way to improve your posture is to practice exercises that strengthen the back and core muscles, such as planks and daily stretches. Besides improving physical health, these exercises help maintain a firmer and aligned posture throughout the day. Imagine that you're in an important presentation. If you position yourself with a posture that's too relaxed, it can convey the idea that you're not fully prepared or that you don't give due importance to the moment. On the other hand, an upright posture, with an open chest and shoulders back, projects confidence and mastery over what's being presented. It's also interesting to observe how posture affects the perception we have of ourselves. Adopting a confident posture can directly influence our mental state, increasing self-esteem and the feeling of power. Try, when preparing for a challenging situation, adopting a firm and upright posture for a few minutes. This simple change can alter your mental and emotional disposition, better preparing you to face the challenge with a positive attitude. After all, instead of charming, poor posture can end up pushing away those who could be attracted by your confidence and presence. Remember that body posture not only communicates your attitude towards the environment but also impacts how others respond to you. An open posture invites interaction, while a closed posture can create invisible barriers between you and others. Therefore, keep your posture upright and aware, and you'll see how it can transform the way people connect with you, avoiding gestures that push away and, instead, creating a natural and powerful attraction. Hand gestures play a vital role in communication, helping to emphasize important points and making the conversation more dynamic and engaging. However, poorly controlled or excessive gestures can, instead of attracting, end up diverting attention from what really matters, the message you want to convey. When we gesture nervously or indecisively, it can convey insecurity, breaking the magic of attraction that confident communication should create. Imagine, for example, explaining a brilliant idea in a meeting, but your gestures are so uncoordinated that they distract people instead of reinforcing your point. To avoid this, it's essential to practice gestures that are natural and consistent with the message. A good example of this is using open gestures, like opening your hands to emphasize inclusion or the scope of an idea. These gestures help create a stronger connection with the listener, making the conversation flow more harmoniously. Avoid gesturing excessively or too quickly, as this can convey a sense of nervousness or impatience. Instead, keep your gestures smooth and deliberate, which will help strengthen the perception of confidence and clarity. Furthermore, it's important to observe how different contexts require different types of gestures. In a formal presentation, more controlled and precise gestures are appropriate, while in a casual conversation, you can allow yourself to be a bit more expressive. The important thing is that the gestures complement your words without stealing the scene. A useful exercise is to record yourself speaking and analyze your gestures. This can help identify movement patterns that can be adjusted to improve your communication. Remember, poorly placed gestures, instead of charming, can end up pushing away and diverting attention from what really matters. Finally, mastering hand gestures is an art that can transform the way you communicate. Well-executed gestures can bring your message to life, making it more impactful and memorable. Instead of pushing away, these gestures can attract people's interest, creating a deeper and more meaningful connection. Therefore, practice and refine your gestures so that they become a natural extension of your speech, helping to build the confidence and clarity that are so essential in any interaction. Physical proximity, or proxemics, is a subtle yet extremely powerful aspect of communication. The distance you maintain in relation to another person during a conversation can directly influence their perception of your level of comfort and confidence. When someone gets too close, it can create discomfort or seem intrusive, while keeping too much distance can, instead of attracting, end up pushing the person away, breaking the magic of attraction that appropriate proximity could create. In a social encounter, for example, maintaining a respectful distance, but close enough to show interest, can make all the difference in the quality of the interaction. Understanding the limits of physical proximity is essential to ensure that the other person feels comfortable. A basic rule is to observe the other's reactions. If the person steps back or seems uncomfortable, it may be a sign that you're invading their personal space. On the other hand, in contexts where there is already an established relationship of trust, greater proximity can reinforce the emotional connection. In a conversation with a close friend, for example, being closer can convey empathy and support. Thus, adapting your proxemics to the social context is crucial to avoid distancing gestures, maintaining harmony in communication. Moreover, proxemics also varies according to cultural norms, making it even more important to be aware of the context. In some cultures, physical contact and proximity are common and expected, while in others, more distance is a sign of respect. If you're interacting in a multicultural environment, observing and respecting these differences can avoid misunderstandings and make your interactions more effective. Approach. With care and respect, always keeping in mind that the intention is to create a connection, not cause discomfort. By mastering the art of physical proximity, you become more capable of creating an environment of trust and warmth. Good management of proxemics can transform a simple interaction into a remarkable and positive experience, where the person feels truly valued and heard. Therefore, always be aware of how your physical proximity can impact the other person and adjust accordingly so that, instead of pushing away, you can attract and create stronger and more meaningful bonds. The inclination of the body during a conversation is a subtle but powerful indicator of your level of interest and engagement. When someone slightly leans their body toward the person they're talking to, it sends a clear signal of attention and involvement. On the other hand, leaning back can, instead of attracting, end up pushing the other person away, suggesting disinterest or even defensiveness. Imagine, for example, being in an important conversation with a colleague. If they notice that you're leaning back, they might interpret it as a lack of interest in the discussion, which can break the magic of attraction that a more proactive posture could create. The inclination of the body also reflects the dynamics of the conversation. In situations where you want to show empathy or understanding, leaning slightly forward can reinforce the idea that you're fully present and invested in the interaction. For example, during a difficult conversation, this inclination can signal to the other that you're open to listening and understanding their point of view. In contrast, staying leaned back can create an invisible barrier, making emotional connection difficult and, instead of charming, may end up pushing the person away, generating a feeling of detachment. Controlling body inclination is something that can be practiced and adjusted according to the context. In a job interview, for example, leaning forward when answering a question can demonstrate enthusiasm and commitment. However, it's important not to overdo it. The inclination should be subtle and natural, without seeming forced. Balance is key. Leaning too much can seem intrusive, while not leaning enough can give an impression of apathy. Therefore, observe the inclination of your body and adjust it so that it conveys the right message, avoiding distancing gestures and promoting more effective and engaging communication. Finally, it's worth mentioning that body inclination, when combined with other positive gestures such as eye contact and genuine smiles, can create an aura of confidence and charisma. This powerful combination can make people feel more comfortable and connected to you, significantly strengthening the interaction. By mastering this technique, you can transform your conversations into opportunities to create stronger and more genuine bonds, ensuring that instead of pushing away, you're constantly attracting people into your circle of trust and influence. Repetitive movements, like bouncing your leg or constantly playing with your hair, can be a clear sign of anxiety or discomfort. Although often done unconsciously, these gestures can, instead of attracting, end up pushing people away from you, creating a sense of restlessness that breaks the magic of attraction. Imagine being in a conversation where the person in front of you is constantly playing with their hair. This repetitive movement can distract and even irritate, diverting attention from what really matters, the communication taking place. To control these movements, it's crucial first to recognize that they're happening. A good exercise is to ask for feedback from friends or colleagues, or even record yourself in communication situations, to identify these repetitive patterns. Once you become aware of them, you can start replacing them with more controlled and deliberate actions, like keeping your hands firmly in your lap or focusing on deep breathing. By avoiding these distancing movements, you create a calmer and more inviting environment, where the conversation can flow without unnecessary interruptions. Furthermore, relaxation techniques, such as mindfulness or meditation, can be extremely effective in reducing the anxiety that often leads to these repetitive movements. By practicing mindfulness, you become more present and aware of your gestures, allowing you to control these impulses better. For example, before an important presentation, spend a few minutes meditating to calm your mind and body. This will not only help minimize repetitive movements but also project an image of confidence and calm. Instead of pushing away, you will attract people with your serene presence. Finally, it's worth remembering that repetitive movements, although subtle, can have a big impact on how you're perceived. Controlling them is an important step in improving communication and social interaction, allowing you to connect more deeply and meaningfully with others. By becoming aware of these gestures and working to minimize them, you'll prevent them from sabotaging your interactions and, instead of pushing away, you'll strengthen bonds with those around you. Physical contact, when used appropriately, can be a powerful communication tool, capable of strengthening bonds and building trust. A firm handshake, for example, conveys confidence and respect, while a light touch on the arm during a conversation can reinforce empathy and emotional connection. However, inappropriate or excessive use of physical contact can, instead of attracting, end up pushing people away, breaking the magic of attraction that well-measured physical interaction should create. It's crucial to understand the context and personal boundaries of each person to avoid physical contact that, instead of creating closeness, generates discomfort or even aversion. The key to using physical contact effectively is moderation and sensitivity. In a professional environment, for example, a firm handshake is generally welcomed, but a touch on the shoulders can be interpreted as intrusive. In more informal situations, like among friends or family, a hug may be appropriate and desired, as long as there's a clear mutual understanding of the boundaries. It's essential to observe the other person's reactions and adjust your behavior accordingly, ensuring that physical contact, instead of pushing away, serves to strengthen the connection. Additionally, it's important to consider cultural differences in the interpretation of physical contact. In some cultures, touch is a common form of expression, while in others, it can be seen as intrusive or disrespectful. Being aware of these differences and adapting your behavior to the context is crucial to avoid misunderstandings and ensure that your interactions are always positive. For example, when traveling to a country where touch is less common, maintaining a bit more physical distance can be a demonstration of respect and consideration for local customs. Finally, physical contact, when well managed, can add an extra layer of depth to your interactions, creating stronger and more memorable bonds. However, it's essential that this contact is always consensual and appropriate to the context so that instead of pushing away, it helps create a genuine and meaningful connection. By mastering this skill, you'll be able to navigate interpersonal relationships more confidently, using physical contact as a powerful tool to build trust and strengthen relationships. So, have you realized how many of these body signals were present in your interactions? The good news is that you now have the knowledge to change this scenario. Imagine the impact that small adjustments can have on your relationships, turning moments of discomfort into opportunities for genuine connection. Are you ready to put these tips into practice and see the difference? What gestures have you identified in yourself that, instead of attracting, end up pushing people away? Share in the comments, and let's learn together. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue discovering how to improve your relationships and become an irresistible presence in any environment. The next step in your personal growth is just a click away.